Hello YouTube. This video I wanted to demonstrate the setting up of the old style scroll saw for my Shopsmith sanding yard. So, according to the manual, which is available online, you gotta get a table. Just going to get right into the nuts and bolts here. The table needs to be all the way to the right. Headstock needs to be all the way to the left. Remove your belt guard. In this case, I have a dust collector, with Mark 5. So that needs to come off, as well as the arbor for your saw. School scroll saw. This video is not going to be complete because this one had developed a few problems. So the book says with the left hand do this, with your right hand do that. What I've been doing is, and the book says the same thing. You want to look here. Got a yoke. Want to hang on to the parts. Got a yoke here that your headstock's going to run into. Which also says that the flat on your arbor, and you'll see it, should be facing in a down position like that. Not like I was showing you. Got the opening. This is your flexible connection. The book also says to have that set screw also in the down position. That's so when you tighten it up, it can be right on the flat. So take it, set the front end, hold the arbor, so it goes into the flexible joint. Take your bolt, find the hole, and put it in there finger tight. You want to loosen up your quill, like I just did, and then pull the quill forward until the beveled, I don't know what that shoulder is called, it's just the beveled shoulder. It's going to go into that cast yoke. And the book says to use about as much force as if you were drilling a large hole in a piece of wood. Not exactly sure what that really means. But if you pull that up until it's snug, and then retighten your quill, that'll put you in the right position. Go under here. So with your set screw and the flat of the arbor, the book says in the down position. I've got it on the side because it's easier. Tighten that down snugly. Does not need to be reefed. That is plenty good enough. I'll swatch check it to make sure it's not binding. Now this is all the simple stuff. There's nothing to it, and the manual explains it very well. The next step I want you to take is, the book is very specific that the jigsaw scroll saw should be perfectly level in both directions. Now that's a relative thing, because probably the Shopsmith is going to be sitting on concrete, and I have yet to see a concrete floor that's perfectly level in every respect. So what I have decided is I'm going to make sure that the scroll saw is level with the machine itself. Now I've got mine sitting on shims in the back to level it up a little bit. The floor dips a little bit on that side. So what I'm going to do is take a level check across the weigh tubes. I'm going to work the camera by hand here. So I'm going to put it across the weigh tubes. It doesn't look like it, but that bubble is pretty darn well centered. Give it a couple of checks to make sure. I know the resolution isn't very good. That one also is very good. And I'm going to check across the lengthwise, and that is very good. So I'll start checking. No, my resolution is still going to suck. Anyway, I'm going to check the saw itself, and it is just about perfect side to side, and then front to back. I'm going to go on the 2 bolts because it's the only really flat spot in the casing that I can see. There, you'll see that is a little bit off. So just being a little bit tilted a little bit that way relative to the weigh tubes, I either want to come down on this side or up on the back side. I'm going to go up on the back side because I have a little more nut sticking through. So the jam nut, make sure you can see this, the jam nut is 9/16, and the screw is just, well, the set screw is just a common flat-headed screw. Loosen the jam nut. With my level. Let's try this again. Right the first time. I just turned the screw backwards. And I'm gonna go in a little bit. There. Now that bubble is centered. I'm still good side to side. all these videos I do, I'm inclined to leave my own mistakes in. Just because mistakes happen all the time. Double check against the weigh tubes. I'm not going with the floor. And it just happens that this time I set the machine pretty level. So my tubes are good. Good. Then you can tighten this down right there. Another thing I didn't show you, and I just fixed it, was the belt. The belt should be on the slowest setting. That's small pulley on the bottom, large pulley on the top. Somewhere I read that makes the revolutions per minute on the shaft about 900. I don't know if that's right or not. I'm just going by what I read. Now, for anybody who doesn't already know, I don't know what it's called, but it's this portion that does the work. There's a spring inside the tube. The tube is adjustable for different lengths of saw blades, and it can be adjusted wherever you need it. This I can't show you its function because it broke on me. And I haven't made a new one yet. That's going to be another video. But that should go in there like that, and that's your blade steady. That holds your blade from flopping around excessively, and there should be a spring presser foot on the bottom of that, but it's broken. So when I make a new one, I'll include that. And it's a wonder it lasted as long as it did, because it's obviously made out of pot metal, and the pot metal is twisted and shrunk and cracked, and it's a wonder it didn't it's a wonder it didn't break sooner. And this, of course, is your blade holder. This is your lower blade holder. This is the one that actually moves. It also has a spot here. You probably can't see that, but if you have one in front of you, you'll see it's got a V-shaped cutout, and that's where you could put like a file, a round file. This would be a support if you're using a jigsaw blade. You would put your blade steady in that. I'm going to take this off for the rest of the video. I won't need that for what I'm showing. So there's a blade. I don't know what tooth count this is. Looks like 12 or 14 teeth per inch. Doesn't really matter. This is just demonstration purposes. Loosen up your top chuck, your bottom chuck. Now these cut on the downstroke, so your teeth want to be pointed down. I'm going to center that, and I kind of have to do it by eye. Center that. Oh, that slid right over on me. Try that again. Okay. Center it. Now different blades are going to want to be set differently. So the bottom chuck has two plates in it. You set the blade in between the two plates. The top chuck has a single plate. You set the blade in between the plate and the back side of the casing. You want to make sure that when you have enough room, when this thing comes up on the upstroke, it has room to travel. I'm going to try this. Make sure you don't compress the blade, but you want some tension on it. And snug those up. And here's another mistake I made. Oops. Besides nearly breaking a blade. You want to make sure that your insert is in place and adjusted properly and tightened. So the book doesn't really say how much spacing to give it. Other jigsaws, other scroll saws I've had have been less adjustable. I'll pull that down. I left it with about ½ an inch of space between chuck and end of the blade. Now this is with the bottom chuck in the up position. I'm going to run that by hand. Double check that I got the teeth in the right direction. And it seems okay. I know this is not exactly a Bob Vila video. I'm not a professional. I do this for amateurs like myself. I'm going to take the support out. This should be in there just about like that. But with it broken, I can't use it. So I'm just going to give a quick demonstration of how this thing should work, because it's really kind of nice. It works well. You wouldn't know it from watching me, but it works well. It's a simple design, and I just love my Shopsmith. Okay, I grabbed a piece of wood. This is significantly too thick for this, but I just want to give a quick demonstration on more its operation than anything else. That insert should be screwed down, but I'm not leaving it this way for the night. And then check it by hand. Make sure it's smooth and not binding. And this is it. Just like that. That's that. That's not much of a cut. Certainly not a good demonstration. Again, that should be screwed down. It should also be the right insert. This is not the right insert. I haven't made one yet. My support broke on me, so I can't use that. I'm actually not going to do any real work with it until I get this thing remade or repaired. So for this video, it's pretty much all I wanted to show you. I'm going to do it backwards now. As soon as I find some rattly pieces. I looked on YouTube at one point a while back, and there was no video on this. So when you undo this, make sure to hang on to the upper chuck without snapping the blade. let that raise up. Do not let it fly by hand or fly loose. Undo the bottom. Let that undo the bottom. There, undo the bottom. Blade out, get the insert out. And loosen up the carriage. And I would make sure that the lower chuck is in the lowest position. Shove this out of the way. Loosen up. And the book is very specific. Let me see, make sure that you're on camera. The book is very specific about never undoing that front set screw. So I'm just going to take their word for it and not screw with it. So loosen that back one. It goes over your arbor. Again, on the flat side. And also, and you'll see it when you have this in front of you, there's an oil spot here. It's an oil cup. You want to put some oil in there. So you've loosened up your set screw. Loosen up your quill. Holding it in place, then bring it back. And don't you going to grab the long Allen wrench. The Allen wrench will loosen up this bolt. Holding on to this thing. This is the second time I've tried to do this video. The first time I tried to do this video, I had this sitting on the bench, and I was talking about, I'm going to take it off right now. Had this sitting on the table. The front, I had the front open, showing how the very simple and pretty durable eccentric that allows this thing to go up and down. I'm not going to do it this time, or maybe I'll include it from the previous. Anyway, I had this thing sitting on the table, and it just spontaneously fell over and hit the floor. And mercifully, it didn't break, but I wouldn't count on that kind of luck too many times. So, I know this is over long. I'm going to wind it up, at least for this video. Make sure your machine's unplugged first. Never want to trust anything that's sharp and spinning. So for this video, I'm going to call this the end, and when I come back with it, we're going to see what we can do with that blade support.